So let's get started. Welcome to Grow, How to Create a Social Media Planning Calendar, a tutorial this evening presented to us by Emily Watson, a graphic designer and social media specialist, amongst many other things. Emily's one of the creative minds that helped start and develop our Acorn Studio marketing brand. For 8+ years, Emily's been helping entrepreneurs and organizations build their visual brand stories and engage with their online communities. She continues to support the work at Acorn Studio Marketing as well as her full-time job as a graphic designer. She's also one of the co-founders of Grow and continues to support the development of our community and our resources. Thank you, Emily. And when not at her desk, Emily has her nose in a book. Oh, she does. At the movie theater or at the gym. You can learn more about Emily at acornstudio.marketing/about, where you'll also find her LinkedIn profile link as well. So welcome, Emily.
Thank you. That was a great intro. Okay, so everybody's favorite topic is social media. I feel like we always get the biggest crowd with social media because it's one of those topics that is always ongoing, especially with the rate that things change. And I don't know if anybody has noticed the new look of Instagram lately, but it has gotten people, sitting on the edge of their seat. But today we're going to talk social media as a whole and, planning and actually setting up a calendar for yourself. And at the very end, we're going to do a little demo of a calendar that Laura and I put together a while back that is customized, and you'll see why. We're going to talk about it. So, who is currently using a social media planner or a calendar? Hands up. Anyone? Or a thumbs up in the chat? Dorothy's going back and forth, maybe, kind of. Okay, well, if anybody is using one, I'd love to know what you're using. You can put it in the chat or you can talk about it after. But it's always curious. I'm always curious to see, what people, have their heads in these days. Laura has her thumbs up, which is awesome. And she's joined X again. Ooh, okay. How's that going? Good? All right. Okay, so before we do anything, before we start any planning, before you get your feet into any sort of content calendar, whether it's one that's been created by you, by somebody else, there's a few things we got to get sorted first. Couple things we need to have in place. You need to have your business and marketing goals set. You need to know your content pillars. You need to understand the platforms that you are using. We don't want to, start planning for platforms that we don't quite understand yet, because then the content might not perform as well as you'd like it to. You need to understand your audience. You cannot create content if you do not know who you are speaking to. And then you also have to understand your brand tone and your brand voice, what your brand is, who you are. And if you have not done a social media strategy yet, I highly recommend doing this exercise before even creating a calendar. It kind of helps, set the stage and makes this process of planning so much easier. We do have a social media strategy template. Laura, if you could be so kind as put that link in the chat. It's a really great workbook. It'll walk you through everything on the screen here. And then it's so much easier to get into a calendar, no matter what calendar you're using. So why is social media planning important? It's not just, about getting ahead of the game. It's so much more. So social media planning is important, one, for the obvious reasons. It'll save you time and it can reduce unnecessary stress. Social media and stress kind of go hand in hand for most people, including myself. That's why I plan ahead of time. It improves consistency, which most algorithms, they love consistency. They want you to see you online on some kind of schedule, and knowing that you're showing up. It also helps you stay on brand and avoid random and disconnected posts. It also allows for repurposing content efficiently and gives you a big picture view of your marketing strategy. And the biggest thing is it simplifies collaborations and cross-platform campaigns. So if you are working with somebody else and they're putting out campaigns and you're putting out campaigns, it's so much easier to have some kind of calendar, either that you can send them a schedule or they send you a schedule, you can put it in and nobody's losing their mind on when things are getting posted. Or if you do have a campaign that's going out on multiple platforms, having some kind of planner to let you know when things are going out, and you can see, let's say you have a 2-week campaign, you can see the entire 2 weeks. What could happen without a plan? You're starting to post randomly. It's hard to keep track of your metrics, your performance goals. Things are kind of all over the place. You post 5 things in 1 week and then you ghost for 2 weeks. It's a very inconsistent thing to do. So having a plan is really important. Forgetting about important dates and events. I see this all the time, especially those social media holidays that you want to really be a part of, like, I don't know, National Cheese Day or something crazy. Or at the very beginning, when Laura and I didn't have quite, a solid plan, we really wanted to take part in Earth Day. So we would scramble to get content together. Whereas now we can plan months ahead and we can build campaigns around it. It's awesome. And then there's always the stress of coming up with content last minute. You're busy with your work day and then it's like, oh man, like I really got to post something. You can avoid that. You can also avoid like the burnout of trying to keep up. If you set that time to plan ahead, take a look at your content and actually, take time and make sure that you're coming up with content that is right for your business. So what are your planning options? There's so many things you can do. And if you ask us, Laura and I have tried it. So we're going to go through some of them, and I'll even tell you which ones that we have tried. So there's a few different options. It's not a one size fits all concept. You have to figure out what works for you. So if what I'm showing you today or what we talk about, you've tried, doesn't work for you, keep trying, because you will find something that works for you. Number one is manual journal. So this is, your notebooks, bullet journals. This is like a Google Docs notes app. This is really good for you to just kind of like brain dump, get it out there. If you're not sure what works for you yet, this is a really good place to get started and figure out exactly, what you might need out of a content calendar. Spreadsheets are a really good one. And actually a Google spreadsheet is what I'm going to demo after this. This is a really great way to customize exactly what you need from a content calendar. It's super budget friendly. And you can track across, all platforms. There's also so many different types of scheduling tools. A lot of these scheduling tools are very good because they can actually post for you. You can set up auto posts if you really want to. It kind of eliminates that copy and paste going into the platforms all the time. Meta Business Suite is free. For Facebook and Instagram. It's awesome. You do have some limitations on how you can view your platforms, but it's a really great place that is, built into Meta itself instead of another platform. There's ones like the drag and drops, like Later, Planoly, and Plan. Laura, I think we used Plan for like 6 years, maybe, for a really, really long time. Plan is awesome. I will advocate for that. It is on the pricier side, but it does everything. It does Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok, all of it, and it will auto schedule for you. And then there's the bigger ones like Buffer and Hootsuite, Sprout Social. That is more of like an all-in-one. It's more than just social media. It's a lot of your marketing as well. Canva also has a content planner. It doesn't give you crazy metrics, but it is really good if you wanted to get started with that, auto posting habit. Really good thing to check out, especially if you have that paid platform. You can also use task management tools. Laura and I have used this as well. Asana is awesome. If you are okay having your task management system and your content in the same spot. Some people like to separate it, but if you are someone who likes to see the big picture and everything, like all of your tasks and then what has to get posted, Asana is awesome. And color coding is one of my things, and you can color code everything. A free version of that is Notion. Notion is awesome. It does take a little bit of time to get used to the platform and does take some customization, but it's a really good free task management tool that can also be used for planning your social posts. So we do have the social media calendar template that I'm going to demo on our website. Laura, if you don't mind dropping it in at some point, we're going to do a quick little demo. Okay, so this is our calendar. It looks scary. It's not. It is a lot, but if you think about it, this is your entire year that you could plan out if you wanted to. This gives you, I'll zoom in. This gives you the opportunity to see your entire month as a whole. We're going to put in our dates at the top. There is an area for all of your holidays and events coming up. So, New Year's Day is a really big one. And then it gives you a spot to just give you, to put in like a title of what you're going to be doing. In this demonstration, I'm only going to be showing Instagram and Facebook. But everything can be built on. We can easily add in LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok, all that stuff. But just for this demonstration, we're going to focus on Instagram and Facebook. So like I mentioned, you can see your entire month as a whole. We can put in titles of, events that are going on, the posts that are going out. It gives you an opportunity to add in notes beside each month, which is something that I've found lacking in a lot of social media calendars, is I can't just make notes about the month or the week or what is going on. So I have created these boxes. So if there's certain action notes, if there is a campaign going on, if I have any like monthly goals, so my goal might be to gain an extra 200 followers on Instagram. And then any performance notes that might have happened in the previous month that I have to pay attention in this month. I'll go through a demo afterwards, but for me time. So this is another really good spot to do any like upcoming events. So let's say if something is happening in June, we can just do some quick notes about something that is happening in the month. And then when it comes to planning, I already have these events here. And then a spot for, post ideas and just doing like a brain dump. Like, okay, like I really want to do something in August for getting prepared for fall. This is just where you can put in like some chicken scratch notes. Another thing that I didn't see enough of is having a whole like bird's eye view of my content and then notes and analytics. So this is a really good spot for you to track your followers at the end of the month. The accounts reached, your comments, how your engagement was. So if I'm planning for the next year, I can go back like, okay, well, I only posted 6 times in January of last year. And these were my metrics. Okay, so I want my metrics to double. So maybe I have to change up my content and double my posts. It gives you a really good, like I said, bird's eye view of everything that's going on at once. So this is great for the entire year, the entire month view. But okay, now I want to get into the details of each post. We have created another slide. Again, I'll zoom out for you to plan your entire month. And this is where you would actually plan all your individual posts. So like I said, we're only doing Instagram and Facebook for this demo, but you can easily copy and paste this section for down below and add in LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok. So this is awesome because it's all the details about your post. So this is going to be what day of the week you're going to post it. You're going to put the date below, and then if there's a special event, so maybe you're hosting a workshop that day, then that post is going to go with that workshop. You can edit all of your pillars. So to make sure that we are aligning with our social media strategy, we're going to make sure that every single post fits into one of our pillars. If it doesn't fit into one of the pillars, then maybe we have to rethink the type of post that we're creating. The title of the post, so this title will match the one in the calendar. We're going to add in a graphic. So this can be the graphic that you are using for your Reels thumbnail. It can be your carousel posts, and you can add in multiple photos in here. Your caption is going to go down below along with your hashtags, which will be separate. And then this is one of my favorite parts. So we use this a lot when we were working with other people and clients and like other team members, because this allows us to let us know that, okay, like this post, I'm done with it. I'm ready for it to be reviewed. Then we'll have somebody come in and be like, okay, like I took a look at it. And if there's some edit notes, we're going to put it down below. After the edit notes are completed, I'm like, okay, like updated. The reviewer will come back in. As soon as it's hit approved, then I can be like, okay, perfect, awesome. I'm going to schedule it on whatever platform, and then scheduled, it's done. So it's that perfect step-by-step of all posts that need to be like approved, seen by the rest of the team. This can even be a good reminder for you as well. If you're using it as like an individual, like, okay, like this is ready for review. I'm like, okay, like I've checked it, it's good. Maybe I'll come back to it later. I've updated it. I know it's approved, but maybe I haven't scheduled it yet. This is a good reminder. This section right here, which I find is not very common, you don't see it very often, but it's an action note spot for specific posts. So let's say you are collaborating with another influencer or another brand, or if it has to go out at a certain time, or if there is a link to a certain audio that you need to use for your Instagram post. This spot is all reminders that need to happen before the post goes out. And so we have that set up. So this template has 12 posts per month, but again, this can easily be copy and pasted into the next column. It's pretty awesome. This is kind of what like your month might look like. So again, it seems a little chaotic, but if you think about it, this is your entire month. So we're going to have posts that are going out. You know that this specific week, there's going to be 3 Instagram posts, and then there's going to be 3 Facebook posts. You know exactly what days are happening. You have all of your events. So for this case, this is our flower plant shop that we have demoed with for over the years. You know, they're doing a Valentine's Day pre-order, but instead of, you know, waiting until Valentine's Day, like, oh man, like I should have put out some posts before this, you know, to get people hyped up for my event. Let's put a reminder in here that I have pre-orders open that day. And then I can take a look at the timeline between when, you know, the pre-orders start to when the event actually happens. There's so much time. So now I can plug in exactly when my promotional content is going out. I can also see when some cross promoting might be done. So if I'm doing like a live session is also going on Instagram and it's going on Facebook. Then I have my action notes, my monthly goals, performance, how's everything going, my brain dump, and then again for the important like events coming up. So I know I have something on the 10th, the 15th, 26th, and the 30th. It's a good place to put notes. So when I'm planning, it's like, okay, like I know I got something in these days. And then it's perfect because I can see all my stats for the month. So January is done. I can see everything that happened. I can even make notes for myself. I can track my top posts, how everything was performing. So then when I'm planning for the next couple months, I'm like, okay, like this one did really, really well. So let's try and recreate that, or let's do something similar. My audience will really seem to love that. When you're using Facebook and Instagram, for example, or any platform, all of your metrics do show up in your platform, and it's awesome. I'm not saying that this is like a replacement for it, but this is a place where you can see everything all at once. And that was a huge, huge thing that in our experience that people just wanted to see. So instead of taking screenshots from Pinterest, it's like, okay, like here's how this is doing, but I don't really like, it's hard to take a look at it all. So this is the perfect bird's eye view. And then it's like, okay, like I got my month planned. Let's go in to this month itself. This is actually for December, but we're gonna say it's January. So I have my entire post planned out. So I know it's gonna be Thursday, December 1st. It's gonna be under the inspiration pillar. This is the title. I have my graphic in here, so I know where that's gonna live. My entire caption. So all I have to do is copy and paste this, and then when I'm ready to schedule it out, boom, bam, Control C, Control V, you're good, copy paste. all of my hashtags. And then I know that this is ready for me to update because I had somebody, I marked it as ready to review. It has been reviewed. Now there's some edit notes. So I know the notes, like, okay, the blog has been updated. So now it's 7 gifts instead of 6 gift ideas for plant lovers. So now I need to go in and edit the caption and edit the graphic. And then some action notes would be like to tag the product designers and add location, share direct link to stories after posting. So this is exactly what needs to be done afterwards. And that is our calendar. How's everybody feeling? Does anyone have any questions or anything they would like me to go over in this calendar itself?
I do, Emily.
Yeah.
When you show us for example, right now, the weekly layout for December, and then you show us the overview of the month, is the spreadsheet pulling that from the sheet, or do we
No.
need to manually put it in?
So that is manually put in. Yeah, so it doesn't pull because things change all the time. And the monthly, like the yearly calendars, when you're looking at this as like a whole, this is more so for your planning. So like, okay, like, and then you would take that information and then you would actually build out all of the content. So yes, it does not pull from it, but you can theoretically set that up if you wanted to. It just, sometimes it makes it more difficult to move things around.
So if I'm planning a campaign or something that I want to go across multiple different platforms, then the logical place to start is in my monthly tab so that I can see where I want it to show up and how.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyone else have any, what's your campaign, Dorothy, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh, I don't have a specific one in mind. I'm just thinking about the fact that you know, I mean, the template I have says 2023 on it, so that's how long I've been looking at getting a little more strategic and planful. So I'm holding myself accountable to the fact that I haven't made the progress that I thought I would by now, by just in the thought that this takes up so much time and social media takes up so much time that if one were to be strategic, my mindset is use it as much as you can across different platforms, right? Hit a version of the same idea in different spots, instead of recreating content from scratch for each different platform.
Yeah. And like I mentioned before, not every, one thing isn't going to work for everybody. You might find that one platform, like maybe you are looking for one that does auto posting and auto scheduling. This won't do that. This is more of like your planning. I'm sharing with a team. I need to get approval, or maybe I just want to see everything in the big picture. So
and analytics.
Yeah, especially with campaigns. I found that a lot of like the social media planning, like the auto scheduling, it was strictly social media. Like it didn't allow you to make notes about a certain campaign or a certain event. Like it might allow you to add in like a specific like social media holiday, but it was so limited to like just random notes being put in and those reminders, which is why we created this custom one. It's simple enough, but it allows you the room to add what you need to add. And even like, let's say if you didn't want to have this as like your post ideas, like brain dump, you can do like, if you do a campaign every month, you can do campaign notes or like what's going on. Like everything in here is customizable.
And this, and just, sorry, just to jump in there, like this is so social media focused, right? Like
Yes.
this is where if you maybe you just have a team or it's just you and you just want to stay focused. I'm just, I think, reiterating what you said. Something like Asana just allows you to get the bigger plan picture, but maybe your team's more comfortable on Google. Then all of a sudden, like on the sheets in Asana, you could just link over to this if that's comfortable, or you can start to pull everything into Asana if it's a more complex thing. So just because you start with one doesn't mean you have to always end up with it, right?
Exactly. And yeah, like I said, like with our experience, like Asana worked great, but there were some people that weren't comfortable with using Asana. So we have to find other solutions. And it actually was, in most cases, people were more comfortable with Google. Because that was their world, and sometimes we have to adapt. But yeah, no, this one has worked so well for us. And it's one of the ones that you don't feel as overwhelmed in something like this as opposed to learning like a brand new platform. But yes, like Laura said, like this is strictly social media. If something that you want where you can see all of your tasks at once, including your social media, almost like seeing your entire business plan at once, this might not be the solution. But this is really great for you to get into that habit of working on your social media scheduling and working on your planning and actually taking time and sitting down and narrowing in exactly on your social media without having everything else looked at. Because I know Laura and I, sometimes when we got into our planning, we were like, okay, like we're here for social media, but then we would derail because things were always just, they come up and they got put into your face. And sometimes people can work like that and other people can't, but this is great to just, set up at a coffee shop, at Starbucks, and just work on social media.
Dorothy, did you have another question?
I did.
Oh, sorry.
When you go into the section that looks at the analytics for the month, and for example, in Instagram, we're looking at website clicks. You still have that? Yeah, you still have that. Okay. So website clicks, there's no, unless everything is redirecting it through, like I'm assuming you're capturing all the clicks to website for that month, or are you finding a way to track Instagram specific?
So this would be Instagram specific. So this would be website clicks as in like your bio link clicks.
Okay, through the bio link.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can get more specific. Like I said, if we wanted to add in like story link clicks, we can totally do that. Or if you wanted to, we can even add in another section like specifically for Instagram posts, Instagram reels, and Instagram stories. Like we can create more columns so you have like all of those stats. This is more high level. Like I can just see everything.
And as somebody like a Squarespace would know the difference between a bio click from Instagram versus a story click?
I think, where did you get this list? Is it from Instagram Analytics?
So this is the so this is the Instagram Analytics.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sorry.
You're able to tell us. Okay. Okay. Good.
And special note, Emily, right? You have more analytics if you are connected with your Facebook account as part of Meta, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You can also see more things at once, and it's a little easier to navigate if you're like looking at your Google, not Google, your like Meta business profile, because you can see your Instagram and your Facebook and a little more like colorful statistics. But yes. Yeah. Cool. Is everybody inspired to now plan their content?
Yeah.
So, do you have some tips on that for planning on to making sure we stay current?
Yes. Schedule a time. Like it's planning your content is just as important as other pieces of your business. So when it comes down to like tax season, you probably set a time to sit down and do your taxes, to do all of your paperwork. Same with social media. If it works for you to pick certain days to sit down and work on your social, if you can sit down and plan an entire month, great, do it. If that works for you. For myself, I can only plan 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks I would sit down and I would plan the next 2 weeks. So whatever week I was in, that content would be planned. then I would sit down and plan the next 2 weeks, and figure out what planning system works for you in regards to how often you can post. A lot of people want to post every single day, and that's awesome. And if you can do that, that's great. I personally have a really hard time doing that. And in certain cases, depending on the business, the value might not be there posting every single day. But if you think about it, if you make this plan for yourself to post every single day, have that thought in your head. It's like, can I do this sustainably for a minimum of 6 months? Can I make this work for 6 months? Because all of these algorithms, they want consistency. They want you to be there. They want you to have a plan and to be posting. So if you have this plan to post every single day, but you can only make it a month, and then you drop off, they're gonna not take you as high of a priority as somebody who is continuing with their consistent plan. So my best advice, pick a day or an afternoon or something, have a glass of wine and plan out your content. Or don't even do it in one day. Maybe do it in stages. Maybe you do your rough planning one day and then come back the next day or a couple days later and then actually take that plan and work on your individual posts. Try and find a schedule that works best for you. Again, it's not going to be the same for every single person. Some people like those like batch, like I'm going to get everything done in an evening. It's going to be awesome. Some people like to take their time, and that's totally fine. But as long as that plan can be met, whatever works for you, it's a habit that just has to be built. And I think that's the hardest thing for a lot of, for most people, is just getting into it and understanding that it is going to be a habit and it is part of the business.